EdYoda, the end of your job search and the beginning of your dream career. EdYoda's live sessions are taught by industry experts, giving you hands-on experience and practical knowledge with real projects, not just degrees. EdYoda's industry-recognized certifications will help you stand out in the job market. And that's not all. With EdYoda's exclusive job board featuring 500+ companies, finding your dream job has never been easier. Say goodbye to endless job searching and hello to your dream career with EdYoda. Join EdYoda's student community today and start building your dream career.
So, hi everyone. How are you? So, my name is Harshit, and today we are going to learn the REST APIs. Okay, so in this workshop, we will be talking about REST APIs and how to excel your career in the backend development. Okay, so this will be 90% of coding part and 10% will be only the theoretical part. So we will not going to talk in detail about theoretical part, but I will talk in some whatever the important points I will be obvious. I will tell you and we will go over it. But yeah, this is the agenda. So we will be going to build the backend APIs. So what is REST APIs? What is API? If you do not know, that's not a problem. We will be talking in detail. So in this workshop, we are going to also look into what is the backend development and what is the overall web, how web works, where the REST API kicks in the whole architecture. So let's start the workshop. So what is the agenda? So first of all, agenda will be very clear. So as I told you, only 10% will be here theoretical parts, 90% we will be building a project. So the first part we will be talking in something about what is the basic of web, because whatever you do on your mobile, laptop, tablet, that all kinds of is a web. So we will be looking into it, what is web and all. Second, we will look into it, what is REST APIs, okay, and why we need it. So what is REST API? That's okay, but why we need it? It's very important question. Okay. Then we will set up something for the project building. We will be installing Node. We will be set up our MongoDB in the cloud, and then we will start our backend project. Okay. So yeah, these are the agenda first of all. So let's start the first slide. So here you can see here, this is your web, guys. Okay, so whatever you do on your internet, so that may be on your laptop, mobile, tablet, even on your smartwatches. So this is the thing that is the core of the any architecture. So you will have the front end, you will have the back end, and you will be having some kind of database. So if you do not have any kind of database, it means you are just what I say, like you are just building the static things. Like it cannot be changed. It should be always static. The information cannot be changed on the user interaction and all. But if you set up the database, now you are persisting the data. So this is the three tier of, I would say, architecture. So first we will have the front end, second will be the back end, and third will be the database. So where this front end, what is this front end? First of all, so front end is generally your mobile. It can be your Chrome, it can be your, let's say, Mozilla Firefox, or any app it can be. So where actually we sits, okay, I mean the users. So you sits on your home and you watch the YouTube, right? So what is YouTube? So YouTube is a kind of application, right? On YouTube, you go, you click somewhere, you search some videos, and you comment something, you like, dislike, all these things. So whatever you do, that is the user interaction, and this is the front end part. Now, when you do, okay, so when you do, so that will be kind of user interaction. So that obviously, like when you click on something, when you like or dislike, that is the user interaction. So when you do some kind of user interaction, that will be going to where? So it should be going to somewhere, right? So it will be going to the backend. So backend will now capture that. It will handle the user interaction. And if it wants to store something, let's say like you comment some, or let's say there's a trailer going on and you commented nice trailer. So that comment will be first of all going to the backend, and now this backend will handle or just store this nice comment or some comment to their database. So right now we are taking example of YouTube, so that YouTube database will be handling these things. So this is the three-tier architecture everywhere. If you see, let's example of Netflix. So Netflix is what is Netflix? So Netflix, you open the on Chrome, you go to the Netflix, you go to the browse section, you browse a movie. When you browse that movie, the movie name will be going to the backend, and backend will now search into their database. Okay, is this movie do we have? So if that movie exists, they will show you the results. Okay, so this is the thing, front end, back end, and the database. And this is the like all the engineers or whatever the engineers, you can see all engineers are working on either on front end, either on back end, or either on the database. Okay, so these are the three important topics now. Now let's understand, because this workshop will talk in detail about the backend development. So we will be looking into the backend development mode side. If you want to learn front end and all, I have already covered React.js. I mean like last month I guess. So you can watch that React.js part where I have talking in detail about what is front end and how to build a projects in front end. But this time we are going to look into the backend part. So if you see again here, so backend can be, as I said, like it can be your tablet, mobile, whatever, right? So this is the front end part. Let's take an example of just posting, let's say your photographs on Instagram. What happens? So when you post something, let's say like this is your photo on Instagram, you post something. So that photo will eventually go to your backend. Okay, so this is the backend. Okay, this let's consider like this is overall the backend. This backend will take this your photograph, and this backend will eventually store somewhere. Okay, it can, it maybe it can be stored in some cloud, it can be stored somewhere, right? Like it can be, it can be any machine. So that photo is stored in the database. Now let's say you want the same photographs, let's say like you uploaded right now, and 2 hours later you want that, you want to see that photo. So what you will do, you will do the, okay, fetch my photos. You will say, hey Instagram, return my photo. So you again make a request to backend, and backend will now go to their database. It will look into the picture. Now this backend will give the photographs to your backend. Okay, now this database will give the photographs to your backend, and now your backend will give the photos that whatever you have asked to your front end. So this is the thing which we do. Okay, so this is your request response model. So here you are requesting. So front end is requesting, hey backend, return my photograph. Now backend is again asking to database. Okay, so backend is again asking to database. This is very important point here. Okay, now again backend is asking to database, hey database, do you know this person is asking for this photo, do you have that photo? So backend will say yes I have, or maybe I do not have. If it has, it will return, it will, if it doesn't have, so it will return, okay. If I go back, okay, if it doesn't have, it will return, okay, I do not have that photograph. So this is the guys request and response model. It's same like, okay, you go for your like you go to your father and you ask for money. So either your father can give you money, or either he can't. So that is the thing, you request, your father will respond. Okay, so maybe your father can respond with the like whatever you have asked, or father can like respond with other means also. So this is the thing, the request response model. And now backend will is very important here. As you can see here, backend is very important here. Why I'm saying backend is very important, because front end is also asking to your backend, and eventually backend is also asking to your database. And database, you can see here, frontend is not directly asking to database. Okay, this is the now core point of backend. So if you want to excel your career in the backend, these points you need to understand. Frontend cannot ask your database directly, because this is very security, I would say, security patch. So if you just make your database public for everyone, anyone can go to your database and they can ask, okay, hey, get my data or return my data. That you do not want. Like let's say you are chatting on Instagram, you do not want us like you do not want, okay, Instagram DB is public, anyone can go to that Instagram database and they can fetch other chats also. No. So here we have the backend system. Backend system is actually do some kind of authentication, it can do the authorization, it can check, look, do you, are you a valid user or not, are you like if you are asking for photographs or chat, so you are a correct person or not. I cannot give you like other chat, I will return you your chat only. So here the backend part is very important. It does very kind of authentication, authorization, it can do other things also, like lots of things, whatever you can think of that it does. So your front end will ask you to your backend will again ask you your database. And if database have something, database will not exactly, it will not return the same thing to your front end directly. Again, same process will follow. Database will return to your backend, and now your backend will response to the front end finally. So this is the request response model which we follow, not we follow, everyone follows. Okay, this is the thing. So hope you are getting my point. Now the big question here is how backend do these things, because we are talking about, okay, we will do the backend development, we will be doing the APIs. So how you do this, how backend handle these things? So backend handle these things using APIs. Okay, the simple answer I would say is backend do all these things like, okay, request model, response model, and like it can request something, it can based on the request it can generate some response. All these things will be happening on APIs, with the help of APIs, I would say. So what is API? Let's now understand what is API. So now I guess you have some clear understanding about this architecture first of all, and how backend helps, and this request response model, because these are the important things to excel in your backend development career. So now let's understand what is APIs. Okay, so now guys, there is an API and there's a REST API, and these are like totally different things. So API. So let's understand first of all what is API first. Okay, I have here. Okay, so let's understand first of all API. So generally, what is REST? So I will tell you in the next slide basically. But here, let's understand what is your APIs first. So simple definition can be developers build application that can interact with other services or system, fetch and for the fetching and exchanging the data. That's simple. So what it means is you have different application, you have different system to connect with them, to fetch the data, to exchange the data between them. You will need a API. So API stands for programming application programming interface, where you will use if you have two or more systems to interact with each other, to exchange the data, to fetch the data, to do this request and response model. So wherever you have this situation, wherever you have this use cases, you will be building APIs. And let me tell you honestly, because I'm in this 3 years of experience in the backend development. So if you are a backend development, 90% chance will be like, not 90%, I will say 95 or maybe 99% chance would be like you will be building APIs only in your life as a backend developer. So this is the thing, you will be building APIs to connect two systems. Okay, if see here, like this is your front end system, this is your back end system, right? They are the two services. If you want to integrate two of them, so what you will do, you will be building APIs. Front end will call this API, front end will ask something, and your APIs will again trigger to the database, and then the database will respond something, and then your APIs will respond to your front end. So this is the whole cycle. So that's why I'm saying, okay, now what is the REST API? So if you have some understanding about this API, so APIs is generally to just integrate two systems. Now there's something called as REST APIs, guys. And now this is your REST. Okay, this REST is like a convention, I would say. It's an architectural design pattern. Now, like REST is so what I would say, like REST is so famous. Like nowadays, whenever you say APIs or whenever you say REST APIs, people believe, okay, like it's a kind of same thing. It's a kind of same thing. So that's why we will be also building REST API. So what is REST first of all? Okay, you can see here also image I have, like this person is resting. So actually this is not REST. Okay, like the resting is not means actual REST. So what is REST? So REST, first of all, stands for representational state transfer. So here are, so if you read this line, representational state transfer, it means you are transferring some kind of representation. You are transferring some kind of representation. Okay, so let's understand what you transfer and how you transfer. So let's in detail. So okay, I have this example. I have already told you, like you can upload your photos to your server. This Instagram example, this example I have already told you. So now there are some important points here about the REST. So first point is here is, in REST everything is treated as resource. That is very important line here. What I mean with this point is, everything whatever you see, okay, whatever you will request, let's say you are requesting fetch my photos, okay, to your server, you are requesting fetch my photos or fetch my details. So here everything will be treated as your resource. So resource can be your, let's say user is asking fetch my details. So user information will be here the resource. Okay, a student is asking return my let's say marks. So student marks will be represented as a resource. Okay, so everything whatever you ask for, that will be represented as resource. So the first point is resource. Second point here is, guys, REST APIs uses HTTP methods, also known as verbs. Okay, now how you request. So this is also important. And what you request. Let's say you are requesting fetch my details, and in other request you are saying save my details. Sometime you are saying update my detail, and other time you are saying delete my details. So here you can see there is a kind of create operation going on, there's a kind of read operation going on, there's a kind of update information going on, and there's a kind of delete of information going on. So this is also called as CRUD, CRUD. Yes, so CRUD. So create, read, update, and delete. So in REST APIs also we represent this, what you ask for and how you ask for. So let's say user is saying save my details. It means he is saying create myself or create my ID on your server. Let's say like you are building the backend for Facebook. You when you say create my account on Facebook, so you actually give your information, first name, last name, email address, password, and all these things, and this information will be saved. So this is kind of create thing. Okay. So here also we are saying the commonly used methods are get. So get actually it means retrieve a resource. Okay, it means you are fetching yours, let's say your photos, or fetching your video, YouTube videos on your YouTube. Okay, it can be like fetching your chats. It's just a read information, getting information. Second method we have is post. So post means create a new resource, that I was talking about. Like in Facebook, you can give your last name, first name, email address, password, and you will create yourself. Okay, you will create your account. So this is the post request, in which you are actually posting something. You are giving the details to your backend and saying create myself, create my account, or something. Now we have something called as put and patch. So these are the like get, put, patch, delete. These are the called as HTTP methods. So that's why I'm saying how you request is very important also. So you need to tell like, okay, I want this method. I want to get something. I want to post something. Same way you can say here put and patch. So put and patch means update the existing resource. So let's say like you have a Facebook account there, and you just want to let's say change your name. Let's say you just want to change your name from let's say changing your name from, let's say, Singh to Verma. So that is your update method, right? You're updating something. Let's say like you have uploaded a video on YouTube, and now you want to update the title for that YouTube. So that is the update request. Actually, you are not creating the entirely new resource. You are just updating it. So that is the put and patch. Okay. Now we have some operation called as delete operation also. You just want to remove the resource. You just want to delete the resource. So that is also possible. Let's say like you have uploaded a video, and now you just want to delete that video. So that is also possible. Okay. So, but how to delete? So you need to tell I want to delete my resource. So there will be HTTP method called as delete for that. Okay. So this 2 points are clear to you. This is the first point was like resource. Everything will be treated as resource. Second thing is HTTP method. So here also you can read like retrieve a resource, create a new resource, update existing resource, remove a resource. So everything is resource here. Okay. Now the third point here is, so okay, now you know like how you can request, like you can tell in your format like, okay, I want to retrieve my data and all. But how server will respond to your request? So this is also important. So there are generally guys two ways to how REST APIs or any server can respond you. So they can respond you in two formats. So either it can be JSON format, or either it can be XML format. There are other formats also. Okay, there are other formats also. I'm not saying like these are the only two ways. There are other formats also. But let me tell you, this JSON format is very famous nowadays. And nowadays, like everyone is using this JSON format only. Okay, by default, guys, everyone is using JSON format. Sometime like based on situations, you can use XML also. That is also fine. But most of the time, like 99%, 99 chances, you will be getting your, you will be returning your, you will be getting your response in the JSON format. So this is now the very most popular format due to its simplicity and ease to use. So it's very simple to use. It's very, I would say like, it's very like, it's also looking very simple. So that's why we use JSON most of the time nowadays. So now you have clear understanding about what is REST APIs, how you can do the with these things using REST APIs. Now let's understand. Okay, so now what we will do? So now what we will be doing is we will be building a project. Okay, so guys, anytime you build a project, you need to first of all gather the requirements. You need to understand what is your requirement. If you do not gather or if you do not write your requirement, otherwise you will be failed. Okay, so eventually, whenever you are building a project, you need to think and you need to sit and you need to think what is my requirement for my building a project. So what are the requirements? Let's talk in detail. So requirements will be generally deciding what will be the my tech stack. Okay, tech stack, I mean the what you are going to use, which language you are going to use, which database you are going to use, which backend service you are going to use. So these are the things that you need to search on, look into it based on the some maybe some optimization, some time of some kind of resources also you need to decide and all. But we will decide like, okay, we will be going to pick JavaScript as a language for building. We will be using Node.js. So Node.js is what? So Node.js is a JavaScript runtime that we will be using, and we will be using Express.js for building our backend system, backend framework as a backend framework, and we will be using MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB for our storing the data. Okay, so this will be the entire tech stack for our this building backend project, and this is very good setup. Okay, why I'm saying very good setup? Because nowadays every company, whatever you are saying, not every company, I would not say every company, but most of companies are following these patterns. Like they are choosing Express.js as their like this backend service, JavaScript as a language, and MongoDB will be their database. So if you go on Stack Overflow also or some kind of other like platforms and all, you will be looking into it like these are the very famous, most famous tech stacks nowadays. So let's learn all these things and let's build our thing. So what we will be building? Okay, so before we will build what we will be building, I will show you what we are going to build. Let's see first of all how you can install the Node.js. So if I go here, and for installing Node.js, what you need to do is you just need to do here Node.js download. You just need to search this Node.js download. If you go on the first link, okay, there will be a very simple installation based on your operating system, Windows, Mac OS, or Linux maybe. So you will be downloading this one. So try to download the LTS, okay, LTS, and you guys can download whatever the MSI or zip, whatever you it suits for you. So based on that, do not go for this Docker and all, because maybe like you will face some issue and all. But yeah, try to install this from here, like installer MSI, you can download it, or zip or install on Linux or whatever you suits for you, you can install it. And after installing it, it's very simple process. You will go to your download folder. You will see, okay, there will be a downloaded thing. You just click on it, double click on it. It will give you some option like, okay, install, next, 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 and then it will install. But how you will check like, okay, my node is installed or not? So what you will do, you will just run this command node hyphen hyphen version, and you will see some kind of version. I am right now, I am on this 16.20. Maybe when you download this LTS version, you will see 18.16.0. So that is also fine. So yeah, this is the thing. Okay, so version can be different. I'm using this one for my work and all. But if you download this LTS version, you will see this version. Okay, this will be a very okay. I have cancelled it. Okay, this is a thing which we will be Node.js. Now, what is the next setup? So next setup would be your this MongoDB in the cloud. So there will be two options. Either you can install your MongoDB in your local, either you can set up your MongoDB in the cloud. So I would say MongoDB in the cloud would be the best choice, because now you do not need to install, you do not need to configure with yourself. And also when you set up your MongoDB in the cloud, it's kind of ready for users. Okay, you can just deploy your application and anyone can use your application. So if you put your database in your local, so you only can use it. You only can access that database. But if you put your database in the cloud, anyone can use it. So let's see how you can do this thing, like how you can set up your MongoDB Atlas. So something called as MongoDB Atlas. I will talk in detail. So let's see how you will set up these things. So if I go on this link, okay, if I go on this MongoDB here, just search this Mongo Atlas register page. Okay, if you click on MongoDB Atlas, I have given guys link here also. That link also you can follow. If you go here, you can try it free. Okay, this was the link. Now you can sign up here. So what is this MongoDB Atlas? It's kind of cloud database. You can sign up with your Google account. Let me sign in. I have already my account, so I will sign this hashib.talks.71. Okay, it's allowed me to sign in. Now what you will be do for your thing is you will be clicking on this thing. So I have already this thing, so you do not worry. You will be clicking on this new project. Okay, after this new project you will give some name to that. So here what I will say here, let's say June project. I will just name anything. You can name anything also. You will create here next. It will say, okay, create project. Okay. After creating project, it will ask you build a database. So I will say yes, build a database. Okay, now this is very important. So it will ask for you like some information like M10 serverless. So but you need to choose this choose this one, free application. Okay, this is for learning and exploring MongoDB. So you can choose this free application. Now this will be like as it is, like you can leave it like AWS also, reason is also, cluster name is also fine. But you just need to select this free tier, create. Now after create, you will see something. Okay, so let's choose all the crosswalk. Okay, after guys, there will be very important thing. It will show you this password. Okay, so save this password. So I will just copy this here and I will just make it here just for reference. And I will create user. Okay, I will say, and I will again say here, okay, finish and close, nothing else. Go to database, conversation is saying, okay, now it has landed me. But guys, always store this password here. Okay, just wait for seconds. Like it's saying your cluster is being created. It will actually it's creating my database in North Virginia. So now I guess my database is up. Now what you will do is you will be clicking on this connect. Okay, you will be clicking on this connect, and you will see this MongoDB for VS Code. Okay, you will be clicking on this one here and just grab this link. Okay, grab this link. So I will be clicking on this link here. Okay, I have just clicked in this link. And there's also one thing, you can go to this network access, and what you can do here is add IP address, and you can make it here guys, allow access for anywhere. Okay, just for a second, like I'm making this because after this session also, if you want to grab this link and you want to do you just need to build it, you can build it. So that's why I'm saying doing this allow access from anywhere, confirm. Okay, now it's kind of in the pending state. Let's wait. Let's wait for it. And always the password the password. Okay, now it's active. Now again go to the database. Now again click on this connect. The same thing, same link here. You will copy this link here, copy this link. Now what you will do, you will see this guys here link. You're saying something, the Harshit, this is the my ID for this MongoDB. Here it's saying like this password, right? This greater than symbol, then password is smaller than symbol, password, and then greater than symbol. So here you need to actually put this password. So what I will do, I will just copy this password, and instead of this password, I will just give my password here. Now this is the link guys which you will be using to connect your MongoDB. Okay, that link you will be creating. So I will just leave it for as of now for in the my web browser only. I will give it here, or either I can save it somewhere. Let's save in my where. I will just click on this notes. I can click here. I am just save this notes right now here. Okay, now let's make this here. Now what I will do here is I can cancel all this thing here. So now your database is set up. Okay, now your database is set up. That's fine. Now let's build the project. So how we are going to build and what we are going to build is we are going to build our authentication and token based authorization. Okay, backend project. So here what we will be doing is we will be building the feature, actual backend feature, how you can make your APIs for sign up. Okay, sign up, I mean like create a user, how you will be making your APIs to log in to the user, and not just normal login or normal sign up. We will be also doing the password hashing. We will be doing the token based authorization. So before I will tell you like what is this token based authorization and all, let's build complete the first part, and then second part we will be looking into it like what is the token based authorization. So there's a difference between authentication and authorization that I will talk in detail, but let's build the authentication first. Okay, simple log email address, password, and login with the simple ID and password, that we will build first. Then in the second part, okay, second part I mean in just 40 minutes, we will be building this token based authorization. So what is this token based authorization, what is the difference between authorization and authentication, I will be telling you. But let's start building our project. So what here we will be doing is, okay, so we have this Node.js setup with us. We have this MongoDB setup with us. So now we will be starting our Node project. So how to start your Node project? So I'm in the desktop live, this folder. Right now I'm in here. I will create a folder here. Let me create a project, and here I will say, let's say June 10. Okay, I have just creating a project, a folder. So how you will create a folder? So mkdir, that you can use it. If you are on Windows, you can use git bash terminal to run this commands. Okay, normal command prompt, I do not think that mkdir works. Okay, git on git bash it works. Okay, but if you are on Mac or if you're on Linux, this commands works. So you will be creating this one. Now let's move to this folder. Now here we are. Now let's create our Node project. So how you will be going to create a Node project? So there is a very simple command, guys. Here you will be running this npm init y -y. So what is this -y? So so actually when you do this npm init, it will ask you for several questions. When you do just npm init -y, it will just skip all the question and it will mark all the question yes as a answer. So when you do this npm init -y, if you do this here, you guys can see it will take a second and it will just set up my project. So my project is set up and I have my project set up. Let's open in the VS Code. So either you can go on your VS Code and you can open from your VS Code this folder, but there's a shortcut like code dot. Okay, so this may code dot not work in your system. This code space dot may not work on your system. So what instead of what you can do, you can open this VS Code. You can go on file folder. Okay, let me open it using this first of all here. So how you can open it? So you can guys can open this file, then open folder, then it will land you to your in that it will land you to your this one here, and then you can choose your that folder. So here I have, okay, so when I run this npm init, it has created some package.json file. So it has this information like what is the name of my project, what is the version, what is the description, what is the main the script, we have something license and all. These things are like important. I'm not saying like these are not important, but you can just gather like, okay, there's a name, description, all these things are dummy information. Okay, not dummy information, just I would say meta information for that. Let's create a file, guys. Here first of all, I will be creating a file here, server.js. I will make it a little bit here. Now we have created this server.js file here. Now, if you know a little bit of our node and all, we have something called as npm. Okay, we have something called as npm. So let me just go on npm website, not npm download, just go on npm website. So what is this? So npm is actually your package website. Okay, so here you will see lots of packages for the Node.js and for your Node.js community, I would say. So for everything, okay, for let's say connecting your Node.js application to MongoDB, to do the password hashing, to do this, let's say like set up the Express backend server. For all these things, you will be having this package. So if you just search here, let's say Express, okay, if you just search here Express, you can see here, guys, Express as a package available here. And you can see like, okay, weekly downloads are this much and all. So these are the npm packages that we will be using, right? So let's build our server. So we will be building our backend server using this Express. So I will be just installing this Express. So what is the command? So I will be running this npm I Express. Okay, and I want to actually connect my Node.js to the MongoDB also. So there's a package called as Mongoose that I will be using to connect my this Node.js application, the Express.js backend to the MongoDB. So I will be installing this both packages, Express and Mongoose. So if you search here Mongoose also, you will be getting mongoose package. So every package is there. Okay, you can either you can copy this, let's say, see the same command is there, npmi mongoose, npmi express. If you want to install multiple packages together, what you can do, you can just put the name as a space, so express space mongoose, and here also you can give any package name. So I'm just installing these two packages as of now. So I will do here npmi express and mongoose and hit enter. It will take some time to install. Okay, so let's, it is installing. Okay, it is a very huge package first of all, so it's installing. Now if you go to your here VS Code, so this is the guys product for product structure I have. Okay, now these are the installed. Okay, you can see here added 82 packages and audited 83 packages in 13 seconds. It took 13 seconds to download it. Now if you see here, you will see here package.json, and here you can see dependencies. Okay, there will something added here, dependency. Here you can see express and mongoose are already added. So these two packages you just installed, so express and mongoose are added, and there's a version also, like this version and this version. Now you can see there's a folder called as, guys, here node modules. Okay, node modules is actually this is the place where actually you have this express and all. So if you go and if you see here, okay, if you go and if you see that let's say mongoose, here you can see mongoose is there. If you see here express, let's say see express is also there here, and express, and again cc, guys, in express also you have this package.json, right? So if you open this package.json, it has also dependent on these are the packages. So these packages are also installed. If you see here like this accepts, so this is also installed. So whatever the dependency will be, all will be downloaded and it will be inside this node modules. So you do not need to know you do not need to master about this node modules. This is the package, this is a folder which auto generates whenever you install something. So that's the simple I would say description. Let's start our server. So how I can start our server? And as I said here, guys, we will be using what? We will be using our express, right? If I go back here, if I go again back, you can see here we will be using this express for the backend service, backend framework. So there is this simple write code and all, like we can use it. Let's look how we can code it. So first of all, what you will do, you will be grabbing express, and how you can grab, so you can grab this using require. You can say here express is required, and why you are able to require, because you have downloaded it. See, it's in your dependency. Now what you will do here is, now you will be making your app. Okay, so app, and here you can say express. This is the thing that you can do. Now after that, what you will do, so whenever you start your backend service, a backend project, that should be on somewhere. Okay, that should be running on some port. So you can do here, okay, app.listen, and it will be listening on, let's say, 3000 port. And in the callback, you can say here just a message like, okay, here you can say server started at 3000. Okay, you can just give a message here, server started at 3000. Now how you are going to run this? So you will be opening this terminal from here, and you can see here, okay, we are in this folder. Now you just write here, guys, node. If you just write here, let's say, just remove all, you just write here, guys, node server.js, and server.js is the file. When you just hit enter, you can see here server is started at 3000. Now your server is started. Your backend service is started at your port 3000. So how you can check, like, okay, is it started or not? You can just do here localhost 3000. Okay, when you just print out here, you can see cannot get this. It's saying like you do not have anything on this path. Okay, so this is the path. So let's define something. So I am saying here, if anyone come, okay, so I am saying, guys, here app.get. If I am saying here on /, I mean the home path. If anyone comes to here, return something. So what I will say here, and here I will say in this space, guys, we need to tell, if we will be getting two arguments, that is called as request, and we will be getting this response. Do you remember when I was talking in that front end, back end, all these things? So we have request and we have response. So we will send the response. So here we will say, let's say return res dot, I will say this in some kind of status code. I will talk what is the status code and all. I will get the JSON response. You remember, like I told, APIs will always return the data in the JSON format. So here I will say just here I will say, let's say message, and message you can give any message. So here I will say I will say okay. So that's simple. Okay. So if anyone comes to this point here, I will be doing this message. Now let's again and do the refresh. You guys can see if I'm refreshing, still I'm getting cannot get here. Why? Because I haven't restarted my server. Okay. So let's restart it. So how do you stop this server? So you can press this Control C. It's stopped. Now again run this node server.js. Now if you go to this guys 3000, if you refresh the page, you can see message okay. Okay, this is the message you are getting, message okay you are getting, and you can change it anything. You can change, let's say here okay, you just add something. Now if you just do this thing, you need to restart again node server.js. If you refresh the page, you can see the updated information. So this is your guys first API that you have built it. You are saying if anyone comes to this location, show this information, show this thing. Okay, now let's build another thing. I want to say here, if anyone comes to, let's say here, home route. Okay, I am saying here, if anyone come to this home route, I will say here, I will just say here, let's say welcome to home. I will say this information, and again I will need to restart. There's a kind of shortcut for also like to restart and all. I will tell you. When you do here, refresh the page on the 3000. When you do this home, the message will be changed to welcome to home. So this is the response that is coming from the backend. This is the response which is actually you are calling this API. So this is your API. API is triggered and it's sending the data. Now guys, we haven't set any database. Okay, if you go to our slides, I tell you like, okay, there will be again every time we will need to set up this database and all. So let's set up the database. So how you will set up the database? So that is just very simple. I will just delete this code. Okay, as of now, I can just delete it, or I can just comment out. Or let's do not do anything, just keep it here only. Okay, I will just minimize this code. Now let's set up the database. So for database guys, you remember like I installed that mongoose package. So I will say here mongoose equal to require, and it will, the name will be here mongoose, all these. Okay, so mongoose will help me to connect with the database. So let's say here how you will write the code. So you will say here mongoose dot connect, and you will give that URL. So whatever the URL here I have, I guess. Oh, I missed that URL. Okay, I have here a URL. You will just copy this URL and you will come to here and you will give this here. Now there's a thing guys, while like this node application will connect your this MongoDB and all, you need to this is a kind of promise based service. So you need to place this await here, and if you are putting it await here, this is here you need to put async. So you cannot put await a normal function. If you are putting await here, the function should be also async here. Now here you will say, okay, let's remove here first of all, and here let's do the try catch. Okay, always try to put try catch, and here you will say if this works, then let's message a print, and here you can say database connection done. Okay, and otherwise you will say here what you will say. You will say database connection failed. Now let's again restart your service, and let's say like if your database is connected or not. Let's start your service. Node.js is you do okay. Service started at 3000. Let's wait for this database connection, or either failed. Let's wait. It's trying to make the connection. Okay, let's wait. Okay, you guys can see here database connection is done. Now your node application is connected to your database. So okay, connection is made. Now guys, what we'll be doing is we will be building our first of all that project where we will be building that, like we will be having that user authentication and sign up. So for that, I will be creating a folder here for, let's say, models, and inside this model I will be having a file called as user.model.js. And here I will be creating my this model. Okay, so what is model? So whenever you want to store some data to your database, you need to tell what information you need to tell. You need to store. So there will be some information. So if you are building the application for, let's say, login sign up form, so what you will have? You will be having first name as a value. You will be having a last name as a value. You will be having email as a value. You will be having a password as a value. These things you will be having, right? So what we will be doing here is we will be creating our model. So what we will do, we will be say here. So you remember like for everything you need a mongoose package. So again, you will do this mongoose and you can do this require, and you will be doing this mongoose here in this file also. There's something called as schema also, that also you need. So you'll say here schema, and here you will say again this require also come from mongoose only. So you can do this one here. Now let's build the model. Okay, so for you cannot build actually model first, you need to build the schema. So I will say here user schema equal to new schema, and here you will say in this curly bracket you will be defining something. So you will say here first name, and here you will say type would be, so what will be the type of this first name? So type would be string. Okay, obvious it will be string. Now you will do this for the last name also. You will be having this, you will do this here last name. You will be building this for email address also. You will be building for password also. So let's do the password also. Password. So we have now four things. We have this username, we have this last name, we have this email address, and we have this password. Now there's an important thing. So you can decide like which field is required. Okay, which field is required. So while doing guys sign up, this first name should be required. Okay, you cannot skip it. So I will say here required equal to true. Okay, required value will be true here because you cannot skip this value. Last name is optional, you can skip it also, but this email is also required. Okay, you cannot skip this value. So I will say here this email address is also required. Password is also required. You cannot make your account without having a password. So I will say here true. Okay, now first name is there, last name is there, email address is there, password is there. So now your schema is ready guys. Your schema is getting ready. Now let's create the model. So to creating the model, you will say here user equal to mongoose dot model, and here you can say user, any name can be, and here you say model will be built from this schema. So you will say this in here. So you first build this user schema, then you build this model. Okay, now you will just export it. You just just module dot export. So you will say here module dot exports equal to user. Okay, this is created. Now, first of all, let's stop the server as of now. I will go to, so what we have done, we have set up the model here. We have set up this mongoose. We have gathered this schema, and then we have built our user schema first. So before building your model, actually, you need to tell your model like, okay, this is the schema. This is the schema which I want to follow. So we have built this schema. So the schema will have the last name, first name, email address, password, and all these things are there. And this is the done. Now let's build our first API for the sign up. Okay, so we will be building our first API for the sign up. So here I can do, okay, here in this file only, in the server.js, for simplicity, I am doing all these things in this page only. So you can move your code to the different folders. I will tell you like how you can move this to different folders, but simplicity, I am doing all the code in this here only. Okay, so let's prepare guys first API that will be your sign up API. Okay, sign up API. So sign up API will what we will have in sign up API. If you remember any front end application, in sign up API, what you have is you will be having the first name, you will be having the last name, you will be giving your some kind of your let's say that what we say email address, and you will be giving some password, right? So here you will say, so now you want to create something. So right now we will be using this app.post and some URL. So you will say here, let's say sign up only. So you will say here sign up, and you will do this thing here. You will say request and response. Request and response will be always there. And let's do the one thing here. Try to push this try and catch. Try and catch is actually better for your error handling and all. So now what we will be doing is we will be giving this first name, last name, user address, and all these things from the front end. Let's gather that. So I will say here, I will create a object here. Let user equal to this curly bracket. I will be creating this object here. Let this one here. Now, how you will be giving your data? Okay, how you will be giving your data to this API? So you give your data to this API using this request body, right? So you will be this request body is actually coming from the front end. So this request body has a field called as body, and in that body you can give it. So you can say here, first name. Okay, so first name colon, you can say here request dot body. In the body field you can give this thing as a first name here. So this information is done. Let now do the same thing for let's say here for the last name also. Last name also. And let's do the same thing for email address also. Okay, email address also is done. Now we have for password also, right? For password equal to this request dot body dot password. Okay, so for information, guys, we have gathered first name, last name, email address, and password we have gathered. And how we have gathered from the request dot body, this one. How you will be passing that information from request dot body, I will be telling you what is the tool that you will use. But let's first create the API. So if this API, this object is ready, this is ready. Now you will be going to insert this in your database. So how you will insert this one here? So you'll be saying just response, and you will say here again this, you will say await, and you will be using this user, right? User. So you remember, like, user is inside this model user here, whatever you have built. So we are using this user in our file here, user. And okay, again we are using here await. So let's make it async. You will say here user dot create. You are creating your user, and what user you are creating? So this user you are creating. Okay, so there's a difference, guys. This user is actually capital U, and this user is actually your model. This capital user is your model, and this is your just an object. It will create, and let's now return the thing. I will say here return response dot status code will be something. Status code can be 201, and you will say here JSON response, and the response will be what? So you will say here result or anything like message. Let's say message equal to this one will be response. So once you create your user in your Mongo database, now you will be having that, you will be returning this value. And in the catch also you need to handle. So catch, you can say, let's say you can say this information, response status will be 500, and you will say some message like internal server error. So this message you build for in any case of error handling and all. So there's some kind of error and all, this message will be displayed. Now again, let's start our server. Now let's start our server. I will say here node.server.js. Server started at 3000 port. Okay, let's wait for the database connection. You remember, like, when you do this, database connection will be also established. Let's wait for the database connection. Database connection actually takes time. So now you can say database connection established. Now we want to test this. Okay, now we want to test this. So if you remember, like, get things, guys, for get things we can use our browser. We can, for the get things, like you can write here like a get APIs. But for post, you need actually a front end. Okay, the post data will be coming from the front end. Like, you will be inserting that first name, last name, and password, and all these things in your front end. But right now we do not have front end. Okay, right now obviously we do not have front end, and actually we are not learning front end. So there's a tool called as Postman. If I show you here, there's a tool called as Postman. If I go to your website also, you can see here build APIs together, and this guy's website. Okay, so you can see here, like, okay, Postman is an API platform for building and using APIs. Okay, so this Postman you can use to test your API. So I will be using this Postman. So there will be a very simple download for this one here. You can write here Postman download, and Postman will be downloaded. Okay, you can go to here and you can install based on your right now it's giving me that option of my based on my OS. Maybe when you go to this download, you will get your Windows and Linux. Okay, it actually like check what is your OS, which OS you're using. So I have already installed that. I will open this one here. So after installing, you will be seeing this kind of information. I have created some collection, so you can create also a collection. And how you will create this, create on this plus sign, that will be created. I have already created this June 10, so I can delete this collection. Delete it here. June 10 is there. Now let's add a request. So add a request, you mean you are adding a request. So here I will say sign up API. Okay, the name of my this one is here. Now I want to use this API. I want to test this API. So here I will say my API is running on localhost 3000 and on which URL. So is using is this sign up URL, right? So I will say here sign up. Now there's a guys here get and post all these things. So I will be using post here because this is my post API. Now I want to give this detail. Okay, so I want to give this detail from my body. So how I can give? So there is a kind of body here. You will be clicking on this raw, and then you will be clicking on this drag down JSON format. Now you do this same one here. And let's give some first name. So I will be giving here, let's say first name, N would be capital. See here, N is capital here. So N would be capital, and you can give any name. So let's give some name. Let's say like Lokesh only. And here you will say last name, and here you say let's say Singh. Okay, and here you will say what email address is there. So you guys can do this as email address, and here you can say Lokesh I mean this colon. Okay, separated by guys colon. There's a separated by colon. If I just make it I cannot make it zoom. So separated by colon, first name colon Lokesh. These things you can give it, any information you can give it, and the password, let's say give some password. So password I will be giving is, let's say Lokesh 123, just 123. Now let's send it. Okay, I'm sending as request. See, send, and it saying internal server error. It means we have some error here. Now let's into it. What is the error? So we haven't console this error. So see, this error is getting printed. Now let's do this console.log and print the error first of all. So I will say here, what is the error? Okay, error also matters. You'll be doing this one here, right? And now let's again restart the server first of all. Let's start the server. Server is started. Let's wait for the database connection, and then we will see what is the actual error, right? So error handling should be also correct. Okay, database connection established. Now guys, again hit your this server. Okay, server hit it, and there's a error here, and it's saying cannot read properties of undefined reading first name. So now it's saying it cannot read. So we are using this request body first name, request body last name, and all these things, but it's not able to use it. It's not able to read it. So guys, there's a one thing, like whenever you are sending your data from front end to your backend, you need to tell your backend how you are going to get your things. So there's something called as guys middlewares and all. I will be talking in that. So you can write here app.use, and here you will give this express.json. So you are saying, so you will be getting your data in a JSON format. So now you have given here, this app will be using express.json format. Now let's again restart your things. Okay, so right now I'm again stopping my server and restarting. There's something called as nodemon. Okay, that you can install. Okay, so if you go here and if you just search this nodemon, what is this nodemon? So if I go here and if I show you, so nodemon is a tool that helps the Node.js application by automatically restarting Node application whenever file changes. So whenever you change some file, it will auto checks and it will just restart it. So you can download this nodemon. Okay, you can download this nodemon. So I have already downloaded this nodemon. And how you will download? So there will be again very simple thing. Just copy that and install that. Okay, if you are facing error, you can do that manual stop and manual start. But I can use this nodemon because this is already set on my system. So when I do this nodemon, see, it will start it, and now I do not need to close it, restart it by myself. It will be auto checked and it will be auto started. So let's wait for the database connection. Database connection is very important now. And we have given this here for the telling the user, okay, the database connection established. Now let's try to hit the API again. Let's hit the API. Okay, again it's saying error. Let's check what is the error now. Away the code. So now error it's saying is password field is required. Okay, and here we are not setting any password. So password field is required. So are we not setting? Okay, we have given triple S here. Okay. Triple S, not a single, just single S. Again, okay, I do not mean to restart by myself. It should auto start. But yeah, this thing happen. Okay, and this thing like sometime I do by manually all these things. So let's wait and now again try to hit the APIs and see if that error is gone or not. Okay, database connection established. Now again hit the API. If you guys hit the API, you can see now you have successfully created your data in your database. And how you can check it? So you guys can go on your database. You guys can go here and you guys can browse collections. Okay, and if you browse, click on browse collection, if you go on users, you guys can see locase is created. And this database, guys, if you remember, this database is not in India. This database was set up in the North Virginia. So this location is like, this data is now right now in the North Virginia. Now let's create another thing. Let's create here, let's say Arun. Okay, Arun is my student. So I will say here Arun. I will say here Arun. If you just refresh this page, so is there option to refresh? Yeah, refresh here. You guys can see here this information, our information, location information, all are getting saved. But there's an issue, guys. Here you can see here password is now like as it is, whatever we are giving. Password should not be as it is. It should be encrypted. Okay, otherwise it will be very hacky thing, right? Like guys, like you are trusting on Facebook, you are trusting on Instagram, YouTube, all these things, and if let's say like they are not encrypting your password, like they can see, okay, the password is Arun123, let's try on some other platform also. So that this is very bad design. So what you need to do, so now we need to so here if I go on code, we do not need to save my password as it is. So here I am saving my password as it is. I do not want to do that. What I want to encrypt and then store it. So for encryption, guys, there's a package called as bcrypt. Okay, there's a package. So in everything, like for everything, you have a package. So if you go on this bcrypt library and if you just search this hash, I mean sync, yeah. So what is the first of all bcrypt library? Let's look into it. So bcrypt library helps you in the hashing of your password. It hashes your password based on something. So if you click on this, guys, here, first of all, you need to install, right? And if any package you want to use it, you need to install it. So let's install it. So you can install it here also. So let's install it. Close this all and let's install here npm I bcrypt. Okay, it's installed. Now how can use, guys, you will know like okay, which package you want to use or not. You guys can simply write here. You can write here npm package. If you do not know, let's say like right now I'm telling you this is the bcrypt library. So you can write here npm package for password hashing best package. So if you search here, guys, there will be some package. If you go on some kind of blog and all, you will be getting like there are lots of packages for the same thing. But this bcrypt is very good. Okay, they do, I guess, SHA 256 encryption. This is very hard to crack. Okay, so now we have installed this bcrypt. Okay, bcrypt is installed, and how you will check it? So you can go on your package.json and here you can say bcrypt is installed. Now if you go here, now I do not want to like right now like inserted my as it is my value. I want to encrypt it. So if you go on your again here, if you just search here hash sync, they have already given you nice documentation. So you can just copy this here and you can see here technique, generate a salt and hash on separate function. Let's copy this one here and just copy in our here. Okay, I can copy here. Now just read this line. So it's saying you need to generate. Okay, so first of all, if you have installed, you need to gather here also. So let's gather bcrypt also here. Bcrypt equal to require. You can go here bcrypt. Okay, bcrypt is now here with us. Now here saying bcrypt generate salt. So what is the salt number? So salt number is actually you are telling how many rounds of encryption you want. So you can give any random number. So let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you just give it 8. Okay, you want to do the encryption 8 times, like 8 levels of encryption that you can do. And so you have given this one here. Now this will be your password. So bcrypt.hash password, and here you will give your that password. So whatever you are grabbing it. So here I will just say request.password will be there. And now you will give your plain password and it will return you the hash password. So this is your guys now this is the hash password. So I do not want to store it here. I can remove it here. And here I will say, and here I can say here, let's say user.password. Okay, this one here. Now, whatever the password you are giving, I just created this salt. First of all, here you have given this salt and the plain password and it will return me the hash password. Now I'm storing this user password as encrypted password. Let's see if it's working or not. I will start this node server. So right now, if you see location, Arun has like password, like the password is visible now. Now let's wait for the database connection and then we will test it if my password is getting hashed or not. So database connection is established. Now let's create a one user. So I will say, let's say here Rohit. Okay, Rohit, and here I can say Sharma. And I will say here, let's say Rohit, and here I will say what? Here I will say Rohit 123. Now let's hit the enter here. You guys can see here password is now encrypted. Now, even if your backend engineer or someone can read your password, they cannot decrypt this password. Okay, so that is the power of your encryption. Now you cannot see your password. Now you cannot tell, okay, what is the password and how we have done the encryption. That is very simple. With just 2 lines, we have encrypted our password. We have used this bcrypt library. We have first generated the salt and then we have given this password to encrypt it. Now guys, you can see here, now your sign up API is done. Okay, now your sign up API is somehow done. Okay, now let's work on the login API. So sign up API is done. So now let's work on sign in API, or you can name it, let's say login API. Now we will work on this login API. So I can, okay, for login API, what you give as a user? So you need to give your email address and you will tell me the password. Okay, you will need to give me the email address and you will give me the password. So I will say here post, because you are giving some details me. So and I will say here, let's say sign in. And here again, there will be a request model and there will be a response model. And here you will say something. Now again, do the same thing, guys. Do you see here? Whenever I'm typing, this server is automatically restarted and all. This is because of node mon. I will do this try and catch. And here what I will say, here I will say, I will grab this email address. So from where? Again, I will take that from by request.body from email address. I have given this email address. So now let's think how you will be designing this login API. So login API or signing API is what it will be. First of all, you will taking your email address and password. Okay, but before checking the like combination, like okay, this email address is also correct and password is also correct, you need to first check if your email address is valid or not. If email address is not valid, there is no point to check your password. Okay, because password is hashed, so we will do something else for that. But first you will check if this email address is valid or not. If your email address is not valid, there's no point in checking. Let me check the chat and all. Okay, so you can check like, okay, if this email address is valid or not. If your email address is not valid, there's no point to check your password. So that's why we will do for email and checking. So what we will be doing is, we will be saying here check email, and you will say again, we will be using this async here. Okay, and let me stop this server because it will be auto running for long. I need to write lots of code now. I will show here await user, capital user, because this is your here I will do find one. Okay, find one, and here I will say email address is what? So email address is actually your email address. So here you are running a query to your MongoDB saying fetch me a user which is having email address as this email. So this email address is actually this email address. Okay, this is your field of your that model. Okay, if you see here in your model also you have this field, right? So this field, the first email address is your model field, and this email is your this field. So whatever you have given, if this email address is correct, if this email address have something, so actually if this email address is correct, it will return me that user. Okay, it will return me that user. So first of all, let me just console.log, or do not console.log. Let's build API only. So I will do here, first of all, I will check this email address. If this email address is correct, if we have some user with this email address, it will return me that user. If doesn't, it will return me null. So I will say here, if check email, okay, if is it not null, then only do the thing. Otherwise, what you will say? Otherwise, you will return a, otherwise you will say here return response dot status, and you will say 409 as a code, and here you will say JSON response, and here you will say what? Here you will say message, and here you will say email address not valid. You will say here email address not valid or email address. Now, if email address, do we have something in the email address? Okay. Now, if we have some user with this email address, now we will check the password. So how you are going to check the password? So again, because the password is hashed, user will give me their password. They do not know like the hash password. They will give me the exact password, like okay, Rohit will give me like Rohit123 only. I need to check this Rohit123 with my hash password. So hash password is actually, guys, here check email dot password. So it is this is the password which is saved in my database. So what I will do here is I will be checking the password. So for if you go to the Bgrip library, and if you see here, see guys, there's a function called as compare sync. Okay, compare sync. So compare sync that we will use, and compare sync will take your two things. It will take your plain password and it will take you the hash password, and it will check, okay, if that plain password in and if my hash password is same, it will do its comparison by their own algorithm, but it will do the compare, and if that password is same, then only it will return me true. So what I will do, I will just copy this one here, and if I just paste it here. So what is the plain password? So from where I'm getting the plain password? So plain password will be sent by the user. So that will be inside this request.body.password. And where the hash password? So when you gather this user, so this user will have that password. So right. So if you see here, check email.password. So here you have that compare password. Okay. Now you can do here. Let's say, let's take this as check password. You are, so it will give me this will give me your password, right? This will either give me true, or this compare sync will either give me true, or either it will give me the false. So I will say here, if check password, if check password is correct, then only I will say something. Then only I will say user logged in successfully. So here I will say, I can just copy this message, and here I can say, and as a 200 message, and here I will say, and here I will say like logged in. Okay, here we have seen here logged in. If password is also correct, email ID is also correct, then I will say this password is correct. If that is not the case, so here I will say password is wrong. So here I will say password is not correct. So it means, so here why you are saying password is not correct, because you have given the correct email address, but password is not correct. So now let's try to test that. Testing is very important whenever you are building your APIs, because there can be some error and all. So we will be testing with the lots of input now. Okay, let's wait for the database connection. And meanwhile, I can do here, and I can make a add request, and I can name it, let's say, login API, and I can copy this URL and I can give it here. And this is sign in API, so I can give it as sign in API. And let's check if database connection. Okay, database connection is done. Now let's try to log in. So I will do here again raw JSON, and here I will only give the email address and password. So let's try to log in with this Rohit only. So let's give it first of all the wrong email address. So I will say here, let's say Rohit1. I have the correct password, but I'm giving this wrong email address. Let's try to. So it's saying cannot get. Okay, I have this post request, right? So post request will be there. Let's try to hit enter. Localhost 3000, and it's sign in API, right? It's a post request. It's saying sign in is not there. Okay, got it. Here I missed this forward slash. Now again, let's save it. Let's say a database connection established. Database connection takes time because you have set up your database in the cloud. Okay, database connection established. Now let's again hit it. You see guys, email address not valid because you have given here wrong email address. Now let's do the correct email address and let's give the wrong password. I will send it. You will see here password is not correct. Okay, email address is correct, but password is not correct. Now let's give the correct email address here. The correct email address also, correct password also. Now let's try to hit enter. You guys see here logged in. You have successfully logged in. Now let's create a more here and let's create this time Virat. Okay, Virat Kohli, and here I will say, let's say again Virat, and here I will say password as Virat123. Now let's create with the Virat. Virat is created, password is also hashed. Now let's try to log in with Virat. So I will say here, let's say Virat, and let's give the wrong password. I'm using this Rohit password, so that should be wrong. It will say password is not correct. If I say here, let's say Virat123 and login, it will be logged in. So now our sign up API is also working and our login API is also working. Password are hash. Now we are checking like, okay, we are also returning that password, hash password and all. But let's try to build one APIs guys to get all the users. So right now, if you go on your MongoDB here, you can see there are lots of users. Now, if you refresh, we have lots of users. Almost we have 2 players, Indian cricket players. You guys can see lots of users are there. Now let's build an API to get all the users. So that will be really quick. I will be doing here. I will say here. Let's say users, and here I will be building this request, and let's try to stop first of all because it will rerunning again and again. On every keystroke, actually it runs. I do not want to do that. So I will do here, let's say try and catch. And here I will say const users equal to await. And if you're doing here await, you need to do async also. Await users dot find. We will be doing this just find. So all users, find all the users. And you will just say here return. And you will say here response dot status as 200. What is this status? I will tell you at the last. So you will say here message equal to, let's say users, and we need to handle this one situation also, catch statement also. So I will be doing this here. I can copy all the code from here. Catch is also guys needed. Okay, whenever you are designing API, your error handling should be also good. Otherwise, you are not designing correct API. See here, I have in the login API, I have missed the catch here, so I can do this here. I can now make it here, and you can see this user API is also get all users is also done. Now let's start with the node one here, and I can come to here and I can add a request, and I can say name it what I can say get all users, and I can do this one here, and I can say what is the API name. So API name is users, right? So users, and just send the request. You guys can see all users are getting here. Location and all, like previously we haven't built that hashing feature. So that's why for location, Arun, the password is visible here. But for Rohit, for Virat, everyone, the password is hashed now. Now this is done. Authentication is done. Now you have built authentication. Okay, if I go to your slide here, now there will be interesting thing. Now you have built the authentication. So authentication means what? So actually authentication means to authenticate is this user is correct or not. Is this user giving the email address and password is correct or not? This is called as authentication. This is called as authentication. Now we want to build authorization. So what is authorization? So let me tell you a quick example for that. So let's say like you are in college or you are in a school. Let me drink water, guys, first of all. Let's say like you are in college or you are in university or in school or anything. What is authentication in a school? So authentication can be like you will provide your, let's say, roll number, you will give your name, you will tell you let's say like you are, whenever you are entering at the gate, okay, main gate, on the university gate, college gate, or school gate, guard is asking you, hey, who are you? So you will say, oh, hey guard, my name is this one, my class is this one, my class teacher name is this one, and my roll number is this one. So guard can go and guard can check, okay, name is correct, class number is also correct, class teacher name is also correct, roll number is also correct, and he will tell, okay, this person is authenticated, go inside your class. And you will do this thing like on daily basis. Now there's a very hectic for you as well, very hectic for guard as well. Guard is always going to check like, okay, is this user valid or not? Every time it's checking your password, every time like you are asking for your email address and password. This is not the correct thing. What school or what college can give you, they can issue you a card here, right? They can issue you a, let's say what we call ID card. In college, in university, guys, right, we have ID card. You do not need to tell, okay, I am a student of your college or your school. You do not need to tell, you will just show your ID card and you will be like getting pass, you will be getting pass. So that is called as authorization. Like you will be just showing you this thing and they will validate, okay, this user has access for this thing. Like you are saying, I can go to this class. So either you will give your all information and guard can check you, or you can just show your ID card and okay, guard will say, okay, yeah, you are authorized to use this class. So this is the authorization. Authorization actually checks your, are you able to access, or you are the correct person to access this or not. So this is the first thing that you will do in the authorization. So authentication is just checking you are giving a correct user ID and password or not. Authorization is actually checking, are you authorized to use or not? Are you actually like, let's say on Netflix, what do you do? Anyone can make their account, anyone can log in with Google or something, they can make their account. But Netflix will check, are you authorized to use this movies? Are you a paid user or not? Are you, we should give the access or not? So this is the authorization part. Now we will be building authorization using token based authorization. So what is this token based authorization? So what will happen is, you will be logged in, you will be giving me email address and password, and I will be giving you something. I will be giving, as a backend engineer, I am a backend engineer, you are the backend engineer. So you will be giving something, that token, that ID kind of thing that you will be issuing. And now user will grab that, and whenever you will ask on your further application, hey, are you let's say like, are you authorized user? You will just show that token. Let's see, I am a valid user. So that thing we are going to build. We will be issuing a token for their successfully logged in. If they give the correct ID and password, then we will issue a token. So for token, I will be using a package. Again, I will be using a package, and the package name is, guys, what? So package name is called as JSON Web Token NPM. Okay, if you go here, you can see, you can read it, what they are saying and all that, you can do it. But there is a function, guys, called as sign. Okay, sign in. See here. If I just search here, sure, yeah. Oh yeah, this one, this one. This is the thing, guys, that we will be using. Okay, this function we will be using this thing. So first of all, again repeating, you need to install the JSON. So you will be JSON web token. So you will be clicking on this thing and you will be installing in your VS Code. So I will be stopping this one here. I will be doing this here and I will be saying JSON NPMI JSON web token. This is getting installed. Let's wait for install. This is getting installed. Now what are the next steps? So if I go to the next step, if I again go to that command, oh yeah, this is the thing, right? So you need to first of all grab this JSON web token. So what you can do, you can just copy this one here. You need to require, right? Before using it, you need to require all the thing. So what you need to do, you need to come here and you just build this JSON web token here. Is this ready? And on successfully logged in, guys, on, if you're giving me correct email address and password, so instead of just giving you message like, okay, logged in, here I will pass a token. Here I can say here second message, and here I will say your token. I will give you that token here. Okay, here I will say logged in also, and here I will return you token also. So here what I will do is I will just copy this function. These are the pre-written codes. So I will be using it here, and I will say here, and I can show this const and token I will be creating. Now, how to create token? That is very important now. How you are going to create token? So for creating token, you need a unique thing. You need a unique thing first of all, because whenever you are, let's say like you are building a ID card to any student, college name, let's say class name, and your roll number, your university roll number, that is unique, right? Anything, any number will be unique to identify, like, okay, both like two or not, it cannot be accessed like, okay, two or more ID card having the same ID, okay, same number. This is not the correct. So you will be doing this thing. So how you will go begin there? So here in this place, you will be giving your unique thing. So you can give your just email address here. And what is email address? So email address, guys, will be always unique, right? Because if you go on your model also, you can see here required is true. Like, okay, we have missed this unique, as here you can say unique will be true. Okay, you can give it here unique as true. I have forgotten this thing. Unique will be always true. Like you cannot create your multiple users with the like with the same thing, with the same ID. Okay, that you can give it here is unique true. Now if you come to here, and now you will be building this, you will be using this email IDs for the unique thing. So here you have given this, here you have given this email address, and this is your guys secret key. Okay, so you are actually building your token based on some secret key. So you can name it anything. So I'm just saying here SHHL. You can name it whatever, like whatever you want, just a dummy character. I can put it whatever. Okay, so they are saying their email, and here you can say anything. So I can just name it like, okay, JJ. I can add it for the things. Now here at the last thing, you can also mention what is the expiry date for this token. You can also do this thing. You want to tell like, okay, you whenever you issue a ID card or college ID card, you also tell that student like, okay, this is the validity for your college card. So that also you need to tell. So you here you can do expires in, and expires in I can say, let's say 2 days. I am saying here 2 days will be in the string here. So I am saying here expires in the 2 day. So this token will be valid for 2 days. After these 2 days, the token will be invalid. Okay. Now let's see here, and I will, instead of this, just this token, I will pass this token here. Okay. Token, and here I can, let's say your token, I can name anything, your token, and this is your token. Whenever on successfully logged in, I will be giving you this token. Let's check it if it's working or not. I will be doing this nodemon here, server.js. Let's wait for database connection, and on successfully logged in, it should return me the token. Now let's come to this here and logged in with the Virat, and Virat is the correct email ID and password. If you see here, guys, do you see there's a long token? There's actually 256 characters of tokens. These all tokens are coming here. All tokens are coming here. This is a token, guys, which we have generated. Now this Virat Kohli can do any API call. Okay, any API call Virat Kohli can do, but Virat Kohli, see guys, this API, if you see this API is this get API, anyone can call this API, right? Right now, anyone can call this API. I do not want to do that. I want only people who have the access, or only people who is having some token, valid token, that who can only can call it. So here I will be putting some kind of restriction like, okay, anyone cannot call it. You can call it if you have a valid token, and token will be generated when? So token will be generated when you have successfully logged in. So now Virat Kohli have this this token. I will be giving this token to Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli has a token. Now whenever Virat Kohli will call this API, Virat Kohli needs to tell me your token, and I will check if its token is valid or not. It's not like, okay, you will give me any token and I will assume, okay, this is the correct token. I will also verify this token. So like that, we have generated, we have signed the token. We have something called as verify token also, that we will verify. Okay, we will be writing for code that code also. But let's build the code for verifying the token. Okay. So what is the concepts to build the token, guys? There's a something called as middlewares. Let me introduce you this middleware now. If I just show you this like kind of definition. So middleware functions are function that have access to the request object and response object. Okay, for any APIs, guys, if you remember, there's a request object and response object that a user will tell me the request and response. So middleware are the functions. So they're normal functions that have access of request object and response object and next function, next middleware function. This is very important now. And in the application response request response cycle. Okay. So now what will happen, guys, here is instead of actually giving you the request and actually sending you the final response, I can place a function. That function will be called as middleware function, and that middleware function will have the access of this request and response. Now this function will check, okay, are you good? Are you good, user? Then only I will move to the like actual code. Okay, so this is your actual API code. If I go here, this is your actual API code. But before triggering all this code, I will set up a middleware function that will check if you are a correct user or not. Then only I will move it to forward. If I find out like, okay, you are correct, you are not correct user, I will just throw it out from there. Like let's say you are on movie, like you are going for a movie, right? So there's a two kind of checking, right? There's a checking on the movie inside the movie theater also, or maybe not. Or but sometime you can see like there's a checking on the gate also, the studio also, and there's a checking on the main gate also. So main gate check like, okay, do you have ticket or not? And then on the like the inside your theater also, there will be a guard which is sitting here and checks, okay, what is the seat number and all, they will check it. But the main guard just check like, okay, do you have ticket or not? So that we will be building as a middleware. Okay, so let's build a middleware. So how to put the middleware? So here, okay, first of all, let's make a file and let's say middlewares. Okay, I have this middleware as a this one here. Let's create a file here, auth.js. I'll be checking like, okay, are you valid user or not? Let's build that. So again, I will be taking that JSON web token from, I will be needing this package. So instead of this where, let's make it const here only. I'll be copying this here. I will be making this here in the const. Okay. Now this JSON token is there. Now let's create a simple function. Okay. Let's create a simple function. So I can name it like exports.auth. I'm just making a function here, exports. This one here. Async will be there because we'll be running lots of this await things. Now we have this function ready. We have exported also. And as I said, it has access of this request object also and response object also. So, but how you will give this token? Okay, if you see this token, how Virat Kohli will give me this token? So he will give me the token inside this request object only. But this time he will not give me inside that request body. He will give me in the, I can name it, make a variable, and I can say here request.get, and the thing will be, guys, here authorization. Okay, and how to pass I will just tell you in a bit. Okay, I will tell you in a bit. Request.get authorization, and let's first of all print it. Okay, let's first of all print this token. If we are getting this token or not, I'm just printing this token. Okay, and let's call, okay, and there's a function, guys, here next also. If you see here, there's a function request object, response object, and there's a next function. So this next function actually helps you to tell all good, go with the next step. Otherwise you will return it. So I'm not writing here any next and all. I'm just doing and checking, okay, if this token is getting printed here or not. So let's come to this one here, and I have set it where. So okay, so let's set this auth function. So how to use this middlewares. So in between you can set up here. Okay, so you can write here auth. Okay, auth, if you click here guys, it will be auto exported. See, auto exported, this auth is auto exported, and you can place it here comma. So now this middleware is also here. So instead, so before going to call this code, before going to call this code, it will actually call this, first of all, this code, and it will print this token and all. Let's see what is the issue here now. Okay, we have missed this. Now it's all correct. Now let's try to first of all send the token. Let's try to send the token. Let's wait for database connection, and I can copy this token from here. I can copy this token from here. I have copied this token, and in the get all guys here, in the get all user, if you see there's an authorization here, and if you go on this bearer token, okay, inside this bearer token, you guys can remove all the code and you guys can paste this code, okay, whatever the token we have sent. And let's see if database connection or not. Database connection is done. Now let's try to send this to here. I have sent this code guys here, and you can see here also in the auth.js we have printed this token. So these tokens are getting printed here. You can see here bearer is there, bearer space, and whatever the token you have sent it. So this token I want this bearer, and there's a space. I do not want that. I want this token, this only token. So bearer comes because you are using this bearer token. Okay, bearer token you have chosen this bearer token and you are sending. I do not want this bearer word and there's a space. I do not want to take that. I just want to do this one. So now we will be writing JavaScript logic for that. So token is done. Token is there with us. Now let's say here, if token is there, okay, if token is there, now let's try to grab the to check if that is correct or not. So I can show here, let's say payload. I can say here payload equal to JWT. Okay, because you are using JWT, and this time we will use JWT.verify because we want to verify if that token is correct or not. Okay, and always remember guys, I do not want that bearer and a space. So I want actual that token. So what I can write here, there is a function called as split. Okay, there's a function called as split, which we will be splitting, and based on what? So there was a space, right? Bearer space this token. So I want to split this one. So split will return you array. So this will be at 0th index, and this whole will be at the 1st index. So I want a split, and then I want to take the first, the second element. So second element is at what position? So second element is at the first position. So this is there. Now also we need to provide the secret, JWT secret. So this is a secret that we have used, right? So here we will come and here we will give the secret. So we are actually verifying this JWT, okay, token. This is your token, and with the this one here. Now if you just payload, just print this payload. Now guys, see. Now let's see what will be inside this your payload. Now there will be very interesting thing. Now let's wait for, we have verified, and now we are printing this here. So from token, now we are verifying what was the payload. Actually, it will be your email address. So if you now hit your enter send, and you guys can see here, email address is getting here. And there's other information also like expiry time also, IAT is also there. You just need this one here, right? Because you have created this token for this email address. Now this is very interesting. Now, if this email address is valid, so how you are going to check? So first of all, you will say here, request. You can just grab this email address and you can say here, let's say payload.email address. Okay, and you will run a query here. Right now, you will run a query and you will say here, what? You will say here, const check email equal to await user. Okay, user dot find one, and with this email, I am checking like if this email is correct or not. It can be like, okay, you are giving me some token and that is valid for other user, but I want to check if this email is correct or not. So here I will say, if this checked email is there, then only I will call the next method. It means go now access the main code. Else what I will say here, else I will return it. So I will say here return rest dot status and status I can set it, let's say 409, and here I can send the JSON response, and here I can say message as invalid token. Okay, so here you have given this invalid token, and here you have given, okay, this is not thing. And if this token is not valid, so again I will say here same thing I will say here. If this token is not valid, I will say here response invalid token. Now we have set it, like first of all you will verify the token and you will grab this token. So I will comment out this console.log, and now you have taken this payload, and now you're checking this email address is valid or not. If this email address is valid, then only call the next method, otherwise say just invalid token. That's it. Now let's that if it's working or not. We will test if with the first of all wrong token, then we will give the correct token, and then we will test. So okay, so this is the token we have. So let's test with the correct token only and try to call. You guys can see here it's okay, next is not defined. Okay, so here guys we need to define this next also, because you remember like when I was telling you middleware function, it has request, response, and next method. So next method we have called. Now let's again wait for the database connection, and then we will check it. Database connection is established. Now let's do here and here, and let's call this function. Now here you guys can see invalid token. Why it's giving me invalid token? Why it's giving me invalid token? If I print this, let's say here email address, if I just print it here, it should not give, okay, it should not give me actually email that one here. Let's try to check it. What is actually printed in for this email address, and now let's check it. Okay, now let's try to hit enter. Okay, and it's printing me what? It's printing me Virat Kohli is there, and it's saying cannot set header after this they are sent to the client. On line number what? In line number on line number where they are saying okay, Virat Kohli is there, and here I can say this next method, and else we are saying this one here, and here you're saying this one here. Okay, so let's do one thing. So instead of doing this all these things, what I can do, I can grab this one here, and I can just remove this first of all this one here. Okay, or let's put here only, and let's make it, let's say token 1, and let's put it token 2 here. Let's see what is happening right now. Okay. Okay, it's started. Let's see first of all which token it's saying invalid. This token is invalid or this token is invalid. I guess token 1 it's saying is invalid. Let's try to do that. Let's run it here, and it's saying token 2 is invalid. So token 2 is invalid. So where is this one here? So okay, oh sorry, else part, in that else part it will be there, right? I have written it wrong. So let's do this cut, and let's paste it here, and now let's try to do that. This token I have printed after this if else, it should be in the else part. Now let's try to do that. Database connection established. If you try to send it, you guys can see you can access all the elements because you have given the correct token. Let's try to mess with the token. Let's try to change this or delete this A. I have just removed this A, so that will be now wrong token. If you send it, you guys can see it cannot send. Okay, it has saying okay, JWT is invalid signature. Okay, so let's change the token again. Let's try to change the token again, and let's put it A here, and let's check it B. Okay, I'm just changing the token to B. Now it will say again, it will saying something wrong because it's not a valid token. Let's give the correct token. If you see here, okay, let's try to again log in. Right, first of all, let's try to log in. Oh, why it's failed? Invalid. Okay, let's try to restart it again. Node server.js. Okay, let's wait for the database connection. So now we have made the feature like, okay, you will give me the token. I will verify first of all if that token is valid or not. Based on that verification, I'm first checking like is this email address is also valid or not. If this email address is valid, then only I will allow you to access the real function. Now let's do this thing. So let's first of all log into this and grab the token. I have grabbed the new token. I will copy this token. I will come to here, get all the users. I will delete it all and I will just put it here. Let's try to call it. You guys can see we are able to access this token with the correct token. Now let's try to just make it E from, let's make it K. I have just missed it something. So you guys can see it's not giving me the thing. Okay, now again try to restart. Okay, now let's try to restart. Server started at 3000. Now we will try to log in with, let's say, which user. I guess we can use with the Rohit. Okay, Rohit, and I will use this Rohit123. Let's try to log in. I will grab this token now. And let's try to grab this token and I will come to here and I will provide this token, Rohit token, and see if Rohit can access or not. So Rohit can also access because it's a valid token. If you do not put a value token, let's try to let's say delete all the part here and let's try to like just access it if it's working or not. It will say it will not allow you to access because this is not the valid token. Okay, now this is the thing, guys. This is the thing which we have right now. Okay, the thing which we have, what we have made. So now whatever API you will build. Okay, so right now we have given this middleware to this one here. I want, okay, let's say I want, okay, no one can call this home function. If they want to call this home one function, they need to authenticate. So here I can also this auth here. I want like, okay, no one can give this one here. They need to tell me this here auth token. So now everyone will need to tell me this auth token first, then only they can access this function. See, this is the power of middleware. You have given all the things to all APIs. Okay, now let's try to first of all access this home route. Okay, let's try to access this home route. I will just add a request and I will just name it here, let's say home route. And what was the API? So API was something home here. So I can name it home here. Okay, now let's first of all remove this auth and let's check like if without authentication and all, like see, I do not have any set in the BRR, I can access it or not. I guess I have stopped the server, right? Yeah, I have stopped the server. So let's rerun. Let's try to rerun. Okay, so first what we will do, we will be doing to access this home route without any token. So without any token, and we haven't set it any middleware, so you can access it, right? See, you can see welcome to home is getting access without token. Now when you put this auth here, now we have put this auth here. Okay, now it will call this auth. So where is the code? So auth is there, guys, here in this file. So if you click in here, you guys can see this code will be executed first and then only that main code will be executed. So see, now if I try to access this home and without having any token, so see, if I do it here, you guys can see invalid token is getting printed. Now let me give some tokens. So what I can do, I can take this Rohit token here, copy this token to Rohit, and I will come to this authorization bearer and I will give to this here token and now try to access with the token. Now if I give the token, now I can access this token. So guys, this is the power of your authorization. Now what will happen? Let's say like you are designing Flipkart. So when you design your Flipkart websites, what will happen is you will log in at once and then Flipkart will actually give you some token. That token will save to your browser or somewhere. Okay. Now for every request, like let's say you are requesting for give me XL size of shirt. So to give that response, also you are actually calling API. But right now you are not giving a login sign up also values. You are only sending the token. So right now, like this one here, for now calling any API, you need to give the token. And this token will be valid for 2 days. So if you guys have seen like, okay, if you just logged in Flipkart, you can access this Flipkart for 1 or 2 days or maybe 1 week. But after 1 week, it asks you to re-log in. So this is the power where we have this expires in. So whatever the values here you will give, this will be happening behind the scene. Okay, so here if we have 7, here we have given expires in the 2 days. So your token will be expired in 2 days. Okay, these things will be happening in the background, and this is guys how your all API circle, this all request response circle works. Okay, let me revise it once again for you. So what we have done first of all is, okay, and let me do one thing. And guys, as of now, for simplicity, I have written all the APIs code in the server.js only. But let me tell you, this is not the correct practice. You should write your APIs in your controller. You should divide your folder structure in the controller, router, all these things. But I do not want to do that kind right now because I want to build the API. I was not teaching you the correct folder structure and what will be the correct folder structure and how to make your code structured and all. I will tell you in other session, but right now I only focused on building the APIs because in 2 hours of session, this is only you can do. So here, let me revise it. So we have set up the backend service using Express. We have used this Mongoose using Mongoose for your setup of or connection between your node and your database. Now we have used this bcrypt for your hashing of password. We have used this JSON web token for your token based system. We are creating token, we are verifying that token. Okay, so these are the user model which we have prepared, and this model is very important because you need to tell the MongoDB this will be the field which I want to save in your database. So you want to save first name, last name, email address, password you want to save. So you need to tell your this MongoDB. So here what we have done. So here we have done your user schema. Then here we have built the model, and then we have exported. If you go again, so here we have built the app, and then this line is very important. This line is saying my app will accept this JSON format of input. This is the thing that you are telling here. Now this is the API which we have built. So we have built get API just to show you like it's if anyone is coming to this home path, just display this message. If anyone coming to this home path, and first check the authorization, like is that user having authorization or not, then only return this message. If that token is not valid, return invalid token. Okay, now this was the sign up API. So sign up API, what we have done, so we have taken the user information, first name, last name and email address. We have decrypted that password, then we have created user password. So where user has created, guys, if you go and now cloud database, if you refresh now, here the database that we have. Okay, there's a database that we have. So if you go on your MongoDB, you guys can see all the information that we have. See guys, all the metrics, real-time information, all are getting here. Okay, this is the good place to start your career. Okay, see here, it will also tell you like what second it takes, what was the time duration for the API is hitting or not. Okay, so every information it will display you. Okay, and if you go to your collections, then only you can see your details. So whatever we have built, users and all, that is getting here. Okay, all the users are getting here, and this is where, so this user is where, so this database is the North Virginia location in the AWS. Okay, if you come to here again, this was the sign up API, this was the login API. So in login API, what we have done, so in login API we have done the first of all checking the email address, if email address is correct or not. If your email address is not correct, in else I have written email address is not valid. Then I have checked the password, if the password is correct or not. So if that password is not correct, I said password is incorrect. And if the password is also correct, I was generating a token based on this secret key and expires in 2 days, and I send that token to the user. Now password is done, login is done. Now what next we have prepared? So we have prepared a simple API to get all the users. So here you can see I have just run a query to my database to find all the users, and here I have sent the response. And also I have put all the code in my try catch. This is very important to handle all the error situations. Okay, always try to use try and catch for your user. And in the this one here, guys, actually this was the first code which we have written. Here we are saying our web application or our backend is running on 3000 port. Actually it's not deployed, that's why we are accessing on local host. If it will be deployed, it will be deployed to AWS and all, that will be a totally different story. And if you want to learn AWS, I have covered AWS, uh, I guess in the month of May or April, where I have deployed Node.js applications, where I have deployed chat applications, so that you can watch it how you can deploy a Node.js application. If you just want to deploy this Node.js application, you can watch that recording. And here what I have done. So first I have done this listening on 3000 port. Every web server, every URL or server has the some ports, lots of ports. So you will running on some port. So we have chosen 3000 port. It can be any port. It can be 8080 port, 4000 port, 5000, 9000, whatever it can be. Then we have started the server, and here we are saying try catch. So in try catch, we have first established our MongoDB connection. So in MongoDB connection, we have given this URL, and this URL was, I told you how you can get this URL. And after the successfully getting the URL, I'm saying database connection done. Otherwise, I will say database connection failed. This was the guys the overall code for this one here. And let me go to my slide now. If you see that we have built authentication, authorization, token based authorization. Okay. So that's it from my side. This is my location. If you search on LinkedIn Harshit71, I will be there, and where you can find all the code. So this will be the location, GitHub 8080 live 12 live 2023. If I push the code, guys, here, let me push the code. If I come back, if I code git add, if I put this where like June 10 added, and I make this push origin main. Okay, so all code are pushed. If I show you here where you can get all the code, just really quick. So if you search this 8080, okay, so if you go on here, if you guys go on this live 2023, here is the code, guys. If you want to clone all the code, you guys can clone it. There will be no problem. How to clone it? So there will be a very simple step. Like when you clone it, you need to run a command called as npm i. That is very necessary. So when you clone it, you need to run npm i. Why I'm saying npm i? Because here you guys can see middleware is there, model is there, log.json is there, package.json is server.js is there, but there was nothing called as node modules. So this node modules will be not there because I have set it git ignore file. This is very long folder. So how to get this node.js node modules? When you run just npm i, all dependencies will be getting downloaded. So these are the dependencies which we have used: Bcrypt, Express, and JSON Web Token and Mongoose that we have used, so that you can install this npm i and you will get all the details. Okay. So this was the quick session, guys. And let me tell you another thing here. If I just make it here, and let me make it here only. And okay, so there's something called as a status code also. There's something called as a status code, HTTP status code. If you go here, what is the status code and all, you guys can see. Okay, just 1 second here. If you guys see here, there's something called as a status code. In a status code, you have different codes, like we were writing 200 codes, we are writing 300 codes, we are writing 400 codes. So this 200 code is actually for successfully response, for direction and all message. This is the thing. For client response error, like, okay, you are not valid user or something, this is the client error. And for server errors, that we will return using this 500 errors. Okay, so read about this page. Okay, you can search and you can go on this page. Okay, status code. This is also important. Okay, so let me stop the sharing now. And okay, I have stopped the sharing, right? Yeah. So that's it from guys from my side. Hope you enjoy this session. And yeah, if you have anything, you can ask me. If you do not have anything, we can wrap up our session. Yeah, guys, that's it from my side. Bye.